What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. After Sound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here on this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday morning. So come by and say hello. All right, guys. Well, we have another town hall in the books today, March 27th. It happened earlier this morning, or not morning, but afternoon. And I have my 5 biggest takeaways. So if you are new to the channel or new to just this series, I mean, every week or whenever they do a town hall, I'll go through and do my 5 biggest takeaways. Again, the 5 things that kind of stick out to me. Obviously, there's actually quite a bit more today, but we'll get into that in a second. But there are other phenomenal content creators, both written and video, that put together full summaries. So make sure you go check them out. And in fact, as a visual reference, we are going to use the official Splinterlands Town Hall summary, which is on their PT or Hive.blog website. So here are the main things that we're going to talk about. Like I said, I got some bonus items too. So it was surprisingly jam-packed with information, even though it didn't feel like it. Like I was listening along and I was like, all right. This is cool. We're going to get land next week. All right, blah, blah, blah. Show us some cool land stuff. It's going to survey. And yes, that was exactly how I sounded talking to myself the entire time. But there was a lot of cool stuff in there. So let's go ahead and jump in. The first of which is something that I am personally, I perked up my ears because Aggie said, here's a little alpha for you. And so it sounds like he's working on some like arcade style project is what he was saying, where he's going to essentially like offer Web 2 games the ability to port into Web 3. Now, this came during the conversation with the guest from Wazder, which is kind of like that social media for a gaming platform. And I'll touch on them at the end. But the main thing about this was there's so much of a focus on gameplay, right? People just love games. They don't care about tokenomics. They don't care about, economy and all that, but they just want to have a good game. And so the idea, I think that what Aggie's at least alluding to here is there's some kind of project that, again, he said the words porting Web 2 games into Web 3, which makes me like kind of excited because, again, I don't know. He mentioned like a couple of games and I don't know them off the top of my head, or nor do I know them in depth at all or even heard of them. But I think about just all the games that are out there, right? And I think he said browser-based games. So again, let's not get a little too excited here. But the point of this whole thing was just the fact that the team would essentially be able to partner up with a bunch of Web 2 games that wanted to get into Web 3, just due to this, right? And we know that they've already done it with the GLS platform and then the upcoming GLG game. So again, I don't know what the status of something like this is, but Aggie did share it on the town hall saying that it was a little alpha. So I'm hoping we can get some more information on it because it sounds pretty cool to me. I would love to get more games, and as an SPS stakeholder, I would hope to get more cool stuff airdropped just for supporting the original game, Splinterlands, which put everything on the map. So ultimately, I don't know where this leads to, but that was probably like the biggest thing. And there's not much information, but to me, that was probably like the biggest thing of like big thinking is what I'm really trying to get at here. And this is a reason why I really appreciate Aggie, right? And again, I'm not throwing shade at anybody else. I think Matt is brilliant in what he does. But when it comes to Aggie, I feel like he's always like thinking next level stuff. Like he's always trying to build like something ginormous. And sometimes that gets him into trouble, right? Because I think he starts daydreaming a little bit too publicly, right? Whether it's on the town hall, whether it's in Mav chat. And so people, he's become chief FOMO officer, which is, he wears that title well. But I'm sure many people think that it's a meme at this point. But I do appreciate the fact that he's just thinking in systems rather than like goals, right? How do you create something large? How do you create something that's dynamic and encompassing and can like level up an entire space rather than just focusing, solely on your game, which is, a card game, right? So I don't know. To me, that's the kind of stuff that makes me excited because part of it, and again, this is not financial advice, this is not investing advice. I'm just giving you my journey here. But part of the reason that I'm so big on Splinterlands, the project, is not necessarily the game itself. The game is cool, and I definitely want to do more stuff with it, and I am doing more stuff with it. But a lot of this is just, I really love the direction that Aggie and Matt are taking, not just the game, but their whole like kind of overall vision for things. And so, ultimately, again, SPS is not a proxy for, it's the closest proxy that we have for like investing in Splinterlands, but Splinterlands as a company is completely something separate. So keep that in mind. But SPS is like deemed as a way where you can get in and kind of invest into the economy. And I've said this before in previous videos, so I apologize for repeating myself, but it's a proxy way that you can invest into the economy that Ag Matter trying to build, and the goal with this kind of like open, dynamic, decentralized economy is that like we have GLX, which is going to be its own thing, right? We have hopefully other potential projects that the team would be working on that come down the line, whether it's in 6 months or 6 years. But the point is that a lot of these open, decentralized economies can interact with one another, and if there are ways in which the entire thing can be raised up just due to the fact that it's all connected by the same, the same team or the same group of people that are putting together Splinterlands and all, everything that's under the Splinterlands umbrella. To me, that's really exciting, right? Because that we're leveling up an entire space, which is really cool in my opinion. But I'm going to get off that now because there's just not much information, but it's just something that gets me personally excited. Okay, number 2, Gladiator cards and the new Soulbound reward cards will be allowed on land, according to Aggie. Now, we don't have a post for this necessarily, but he did confirm it there on stream. So, take that take that for what it is until we hear anything otherwise or until we get an actual post confirming it. Now, I have made a video very specifically about this issue saying that at least Soulbound reward cards should not be allowed on land. In the comments, it was interesting because there were several folks who were trying to convince me of why it shouldn't be that big of a deal. And I get it. I do get it. It's just, to me, this new Soulbound reward cards are still highly inflationary. So while I don't think it's as big of a deal as it was before I made that video, I had some great conversations in the discussion. Some great conversations and discussions in the comment section. I still fundamentally agree with it from a principle standpoint, but it is what it is. So we move forward. All right. So number 3. The next promo card is expected in April, and Aggie did say that this was going to be something that would be considered revenue for the company, right? So as opposed to how the, I guess, I don't know if Lex Vega was really the best kind of example for this, but somebody asked if the promo card is going to be worth vouchers. And so he said, he kind of said no and said it's going to be for DEC because it's going to be company revenue. Now, does that mean that vouchers will not play a role? I don't know. I know that in my notes here I put DEC only, but that's kind of the assumption that I'm coming or the conclusion that I'm drawing from that comment, right? And again, if this is a promo card that the company is doing just as a way to raise revenue, I mean, that's totally cool. That's what they're well within the rights to do that. And they said that they wanted to do that on a quarterly basis. It's not like it needs to be, burn everything for the economy. If it's going to be something where DEC is going to the company, paying some of the, awesome developers that they have and creative team, then even better, right? Like, I'm not commenting on that. People will feel one way or another about it. To me, it doesn't matter. They can do whatever they want to do. What I'm focused on is if vouchers are not utilized in any way, that kind of takes away a major sink that I was expecting, right? Maybe anywhere around like 500,000 vouchers, which again, that 500,000 vouchers isn't that much in the grand scheme of things when we have like close to like 8 to 10 million, somewhere in that range. But I do like the idea of it essentially being a DEC sink. Now, this DEC is not going to be burned, but if it does end up going for only DEC, well, then the team is going to be holding on to that. And what I'm loving is the fact that we are getting much, much closer to the peg value. So obviously we're going to get land coming out soon. We're going to have surveying. That was actually a big part of this town hall. And you can see I don't have much on land or I don't have anything on surveying in here. But the Mav server is going to have the surveying go live tomorrow just to test things out, fix any bugs before next week. But I've totally digressed from my point. We were talking about the next promo card that's supposed to be expected in April. If you want it, you might want to start thinking about hoarding some extra DEC for it. We don't have any other information. We don't know what it's going to be. We don't know what rarity, splinter, or any of that jazz. But, if it's going to be in DEC only, then maybe vouchers are not going to be required. So, okay, number 4. Let's see here. So the promo set has not been confirmed according to Aggie, but the important thing, because I'm not really here to talk about the promo set, but the important thing is if the promo set does get confirmed, it would push Rebellion to November or December if it happens. Now, I think that there is there's probably a pretty solid pattern here if you were to go back and look through that. Anytime a date is thrown out as like a rough date, that all of a sudden becomes the earliest date that we can expect something to happen. So what do I mean by this? Well, first we heard about Rebellion in the summer, right? Probably July. Then it got pushed to August, then got pushed to September. Now it's being talked about in November, December. So I would say that, again, I don't know what's happening with the promo set. Again, I'm actually for it. I want to see a promo set. I would love to do some kind of collaboration with a major movie studio, have some cool characters, have a new thing in the game. I'm not against that at all. What I'm kind of just smirking at here is like Rebellion is now the earliest, no matter what, is going to be in November, right? That's just what's going to happen. Now, of course, if the promo set does not come through, then maybe that changes and we go back to our previous, which was September. But at this point, like I said, the promo set's being talked about so much. I hope that it happens. And therefore, because I hope that it happens, I am now not expecting Rebellion at all until November of this year. And I don't know if November is going to be like the launch date or if November is going to be like the pre-sale date. But either way, this thing keeps getting pushed out further and further that I would not be surprised. And I'm not saying this in any kind of like jaded way, but I just would not be surprised if Rebellion became a 2024 thing. And I know it's kind of crazy to think about that. We would go the rest of the year, 9 months with no other like main set. Everybody's been waiting for Untamed to be rotated out. And that would be one of the frustrating things, obviously. But I wouldn't be surprised if we see Rebellion get pushed back, because if at this point it's already being slated for November, December, if this promo set does come out and there's any delays with it, you're working with an external partner here. If there's got to be like sign-offs and approvals and all that, and it takes a little bit longer than expected, then the promo set gets delayed and November, December become 2024 if everything gets pushed back. So in my mind, like I said, November is the earliest for November is the earliest for Rebellion, but I'm saying that I wouldn't be surprised if it gets pushed out even further than that. And I don't think that there's any other, let's see if there's Rebellion. No, they didn't even put that in the notes. So that's just my own internal perspective. Number 5, this is really the only land thing that we have on here, but there was a very interesting exchange between Aggie and Nate when Nate was on talking about the creative stuff. And so Nate said Matt has this whole vision for like what he's trying to build with Secret of Praetoria, what he wants research to be and all that. But Nate said that there's been some really cool ideas thrown around, and he has some cool ideas too. Again, not that any of this would actually make it into the game, but the fact that it's being had, like the conversations are being had and these ideas are being thrown out, I wouldn't be surprised if some of them end up sticking. And that was the fact that the land research benefits, or the land research that you would do, right, for the Secret of Praetoria, could have some external benefits or other benefits outside of just whatever Matt is planning for Secret of Praetoria. Now, again, we have no idea what this is, so you got to go in with a massive amount of faith to be like working your monsters, staking your DEC, spending on grain and all that, right? Just in order to earn something that you have no idea how to even value for the future. But I think there's going to be a lot of people that do that, and I mean, I even before today, I was enticed. But the fact that there could be other benefits, and I don't even want to get into them because they're just like super out there. But imagine stuff like if maybe like SPS or energy benefits or things like that, right? Where you're doing stuff with land and then it can help in other aspects of the game. Sorry, you're doing things with land research and then it helps with other aspects of the game. I wouldn't be surprised if all of a sudden like collecting research tokens became this super uber duper important thing that you could be doing as a way to like be a part of the ecosystem and to show, that you were there, or, right? And so again, it may not be, financial benefits. It may just be like game benefits. But again, the fact that like these conversations are being had, they're all smart people. Aggie, Nate, they all got great ideas. And so I can just imagine that if an idea comes out from either of them or someone else on the team that sticks, like boom, right there, then all of a sudden we have this like new parallel branch of utility that goes towards these land research tokens that we'll be getting once land phase 1.5 is in. So as it stands right now, I have 3 plots, and I am planning to, again, this is probably the worst thing to do, but I'm planning to do one of each at this point. I'm going to have 1 farm grain. I'm going to have 1 focus on research, and I'm going to have 1 farm SPS for me. Will that change? Maybe, maybe not. But I'm at a point where I'm just like, I want a piece of everything. And I'm only human. I got my needs, and I want a piece of everything. That's just what it comes down to. So we'll see once the numbers actually go live. Maybe the SPS will be too good to give up. Maybe nobody else will be farming grain because they just don't see the benefit of it, and they want to chase research. So therefore, like the APR or the benefits or the returns on grain are better, and I move there. I don't know, but right now I'm like, thankfully, I have 3 plots. Shout out to Druid's Blood. Thank you so much. I have 3 plots, and so I may go for 1 of each. We'll see. So that is the main portion. We can get into some of the what's that called? Bonus before we look at the eye candy. Although I just rolled through all the eye candy, so there you go. Eye candy with Nate. Some cool stuff on there. But let's just rock through the bonus stuff, and then we can probably call it a day because this video is already getting a little bit longer. So, tower defense. It sounds like we are going to be close, or like the next thing to do would be being able to I think they said finish up some artwork and then be able to open packs and have a market for those packs, which is pretty cool. Again, this is Aggie talking. So sorry, I didn't mean to say anything about Aggie specifically, but Aggie said this. We don't know for sure what the time frame is. He just said that these are the next steps. But the cool thing is that the Tower Defense CEO, or sorry, I shouldn't say Tower Defense, Double Coconut CEO, the game studio that is producing or creating the game for us, developing the game, it will be on the town hall next week. So that is actually really cool. There's also a new rule set, the Are You Not Entertained rule set. For anybody who saw Gladiator and Russell Crowe, that is where it is from. And that is exactly what it is. You are able to use a Gladiator card in the match. Now, this is what we thought would be the conscript rule set, similar to how we got the conscript ability on those soulbound summoners. But, they're creative. They came up with a better name than just here's the conscript rule set. Now, it's called Are You Not Entertained? All right. Now, for land, there is a new rarity introduced for castles and keeps, and that is the mythic rarity. So there's now a 5th rarity technically in the game. And my question for you is, how long until we see a card that has mythic rarity? And will it be game breaking? But I'm just saying, it's now canon, right? It's now canon. Mythic now exists. Obviously not on the cards, but on lands. So again, the fact that it exists in the universe, in the ecosystem, to me, just says that there is a clock counting down now that says that at some point, I do believe we're going to see some kind of mythic rarity introduced into the card sets, which could be interesting or devastating. I have no idea, but let me know how you feel about that. A couple other items here. So totems, packs, and plots are being added as tournament prizes. So now you don't have to do those manually. There will be an escrow account where you can just submit them when you create your tournaments, and they'll be automatically given out as prizes. So that's cool stuff. Thank you, Cryptomancer. And then lastly, there was a gentleman from WASDR on the channel, or on the stream, talking about the partnership that is starting on Wednesday. Now, again, I've looked very briefly into WASDR. I think I will get if I don't have the app already, I think I will get the app and just go try to be part of the community there. There's a couple things that I wanted to share with you in terms of success stories. So the first of which, WASDR has 500,000 people that are active on the platform, and they've gamified this way of engaging with games and talking about games and just being part of the conversation. I'm excited to see it. Again, I haven't seen it yet, but I'm excited to check it out and see what it's all about. So to me, that represents if we all go in there, or at least a good chunk of us that love talking about the game, someone like me, and we go and we just start talking. I'm curious / excited to see where those conversations lead and if we can get more people into the game. The second thing is that there were 2 games which were brand new and had 0 daily active users that then, after joining WASDR or partnering with WASDR, were able to jump up into the 5-figure range. So again, even if that's taking someone from 0 to 10,000, I will say that 10,000 real people in this community right now is probably a stretch. Just saying. I'm just saying. I mean, the scale of some of these bot farms and bot accounts is incredible. And, you know, we're only seeing 100 so people on the town halls weekly. We're you know, again, this is not throwing shade anywhere. I'm just saying, I think the numbers, if we really look at it, including all the casual players and not including all the people that have like completely dropped off since the big bull run, I wouldn't mind having 10K players come into the game. We may just double. We may just triple. We may just triple our actual player base when you think about it. So that is all I have for my 5 big things plus the bonus items. I don't think that there was anything else that was really on here that you need to see. What was great though, and I want to make sure that I give a shout out to this, is the fact that the town hall actually ran for 2.5 hours. Aggie and co stayed on for an additional 30 minutes to answer questions. So that's always just appreciated because, you know, obviously they get excited talking about all the cool stuff and having all the guests on. So, you know, running overtime, it's going to happen from time to time, but I just appreciate the fact that they take that time to then go out and answer questions. So shout out to the team for that. But that is all I have for you guys in this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. How are you feeling about the town hall overall? This is the last one for Q1 2023. Officially Q1 2023. Obviously, the PI quarter for the team has started. The second PI quarter, the Age of the Minotaur has started. But you know, March is pretty much done, and I am excited to see what April brings. April shower. You know what they should just call it? April showers. You know, like make it rain with all those cards. All right, I'm gonna see if I can push that to run now. April showers bring May flowers. April showers bring more gold foil legendary cards. All right, guys, that's all I got. Have an amazing rest of your day. I'll catch you all in the next video and see you around the game. Take care.